Rockin' Country Radio, today's hottest country and more. Well, hello and welcome to Rockin' Country Radio. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and I'm very glad to be here with you. It is Wednesday. It is hump day, as some of you call it. And nonetheless, we are getting so closer to the end of the week. But I know many of you, like myself, are ecstatic that we've got a short work week and that Friday is a holiday. And hopefully with this tropical storm coming, that it won't be a complete washout. And so many people I know, I want to so be at the beach right now. I'm like majorly jealous because so many of my friends are down at the coast at Myrtle and all of them down the East Coast this weekend at the beach. And I'm just like, really? And they're all talking today. I saw them on social media just talking away like they're staying, especially those down in the area where it's supposed to hit, and they're like going to have hurricane parties. And I'm like, there is just something about that just seems like it would be totally fun. The whole fear and fun thing going together. So anyway, but I hope everyone is safe if you're in the path of the storm, and I hope, you get through it okay. And I understand that if you can live and ride out the storm, the weekend's going to be absolutely gorgeous. So for everyone at the beach, enjoy yourselves. But I am so excited to be here tonight because, first of all, our guest, I love any time I can have a North Carolina-based band or artist on the show because I am born and raised in North Carolina myself. And so anytime I can have someone and represent the state of North Carolina, it is just a real thrill and honor for me. And tonight's guests are no exception. These guys are absolutely awesome, and they have been doing some amazing things in the world of country music for quite some time now. And before I bring them on, I want to give you a little background on who they are. And if you've never had the pleasure of seeing one of their shows, let me tell you, these guys play everywhere, all over the place, and they travel quite a bit playing, and if you haven't had a chance to get out and see one of their shows, you have no excuse because you can find them just about anywhere these days. And they are a country music duo led by singers Tim Hare and Shelley Kelly. And now I couldn't say that 10 times fast. I would get tongue-tied, but Shelley Kelly. That's so cool. And they have formed a band known as Huckleberry Blue, and they have a great country sound that's infused with a little bit of a rock sound, which is so big right now in country music and is so relevant. But they tour all over Central North Carolina. They've opened for Nashville's Scarletta, Michael Carroll, Charlie Daniels, Shannon Whitworth, and the Lost Trailers. They play saloons, dance clubs, special events, fairs, festivals, fundraisers, concerts. I mean, where do they not play is the more important question, and we will be sure to ask them that. But the unique thing about their band, which not many bands out there can say, that they have a lead singer who has been a Tim McGraw tribute artist for a long time, and when he goes to these shows and venues, people do double takes because, honest to God, he looks just like Tim McGraw. So it's just incredibly amazing, but we're going to talk to him a little bit about that. And they have some great original tunes, which we're going to be featuring a little bit later in the show, so that you can kind of get a taste of Huckleberry Blue and what they're all about. But I am just so excited to welcome to our show this evening Tim Hare and Shelley Kelly from Huckleberry Blue. Hello, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're good.
Doing great.
Shelley, I have to tell you right out of the gate, I was so afraid I was going to train wreck your name because as I was saying it, I was like, oh my gosh. I felt like I was going to trip over myself. Shelley Kelly, that is the coolest name in the world. But it is one I could easily mess up. What's that?
I said it's my stage name. Not really. It is my real name. But it always gets a reaction.
But that's okay because whether it's your real name, your stage name, it fits either way. But for someone like me,
it's not easy to forget.
No, it's not, and I love the fact that it rhymes. But as eloquent as I tried to be on air, I said I'm going to totally wreck this, and not mean to. But I made it. I got through it. So welcome, you guys.
Yay.
I know. So it is an honor to have you here. I mean, I follow you guys faithfully on social media. I know how busy you have been of late, touring and playing dates. I mean, you've got an upcoming gig on July 4th this weekend. I mean, it seems like you're playing more than you're not. So to have any of your time at all is just a real honor for us. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you for having us. We appreciate it so much.
Well, you're very welcome.
And I'm going to throw you a little curveball real quick. You were talking about in the opening about how I do the Tim McGraw thing, I've done the Tim McGraw thing, and how much I look like him. I got to give Shelley props, too, because we're actually doing some Tim and Faith stuff now. A lot of people say she favors Faith Hill and sounds a lot like her, so we're going to incorporate that, too. So she's got her own little Faith thing going on here, too.
Yes, I was going to ask her about that because that – I'm like, as much as you look like Tim McGraw, it would make sense for you to have a partner in the music, in the band and everything that is going to look just like Faith, and sound like her. And I must tell you, both of you, the band as a whole is immensely talented. And I've, seen your videos. And, I have not ever, I have to admit right here on air, live air, I have never actually seen you guys live. And
oh, really?
that is, I've never seen you guys live, and I'm going to have to make it's like every time I knew you were playing somewhere, I had something else, a conflict of sorts, and I've just never had it work out to where I could come out to a show. And I've had some near misses, though, but I've never actually gotten there. So that is in my goal between now and the end of the year. I'm going to get to a show of yours and be there.
Yeah.
So
we got to get you out there. You can be our VIP.
You know what? Hey, there is no excuse for me not to come to a show now, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I kind of want to start out by talking about you guys as a band because obviously you have a tremendous following. You've got a huge fan base. Every time I turn around, I'm seeing something on social media about your band, your music. I've got some really good friends who have seen you live, and they say it is one of the best performances they've ever seen from a North Carolina-based band. And so how long have you guys been together as a band?
Let's see. We've been together as a band as a whole for about 2.5 years. Huckleberry Blue came together. Musicians have been playing all their lives, all their careers, lots of different backgrounds. The guys have played everything from rock to jazz to, now country, of course. Yeah, the orchestra, actually. Our bass player has even played with an orchestra, so they're well-rounded, and for those guys to even be able to come in and play country music and pick it up as quick as they have, they surprise me sometimes with the things they do. I've been overall doing this now for about 13 years, but I've been with the band in general. Probably there was one before, so 4 years total. And Shelley and I met, and she jumped right into it.
It's been about 2 years for me, 2.5 years.
About 2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years, a little over that.
And we just took off.
Well, that is awesome. But the thing that I love about your band is that, it is a real testament to the amount of talent that is on the band as a whole, because you guys don't sound like you've just been together 2.5 years. You sound like you've been doing this. Seeing your videos and hearing your music, there's just a connection there in terms of, you guys just gel together so well as a band, and it really does, all that talent and experience musically really does shine through. So mad kudos to you guys. I think it's probably one of the funnest things, but yet one of the hardest things to be in a band, because oftentimes, I've heard this story over and over by so many bands, and that is, sometimes just finding that right mix of musicians and artists and singers all come together. It's really kind of like a magical formula at times.
Yeah, it really is. And we spend a lot of time together during the week in between performances. We all work other jobs too, but we rehearse twice a week. We travel together to shows. We go bowling. We hang out. We're, it's our second family. So, we do gel really well together. And there's, I always hear horror stories about drama in bands and all this sort of stuff. But everybody, for the most part, is really easy to get along with, and it's just easy.
Well, and that's half the battle won, I think, because when you're in a band and you're playing as much as you guys are on the road, more on the road than off, it's probably a really good thing that you get along as well as you do, because that can be, there are horror stories I've heard many times over. Bands break up over drama, and because band members don't get along, have the talent. But behind the scenes, you have it as well, and you have that camaraderie, that kind of goes with it.
Right, and finding humor in the challenging parts and all that sort of stuff. The different members of our band, everybody has such a great personality, and it's easy to find humor in the little things that people can trip over sometimes. So I think that's probably one of the keys to holding things together, you know.
I think our drummer states it best. He says, his famous quote is, "I don't have friends, I have bandmates."
Well, see, that kind of puts everything into the proper perspective, right?
Exactly.
Well, I have to ask you, because I know you guys have probably been asked this a ton of times, but where did the name Huckleberry Blue come from? Now, you're laughing like there's an inside joke. Should I just steer clear?
It's really not much of a story. I mean, we were trying to, we were
brainstorming on it.
We did. We brainstormed a lot about what the name of the band should be, and we have this little group chat on Facebook that we're on pretty much every single day, and if anybody has something to share with the whole band, they type it, and then there's silly conversation and whatnot. And one day we were brainstorming about it, and everybody was just spewing words. I mean, just random words, adjectives, whatever, putting them out there, and we ended up just putting these two words together, and we like Huckleberry because it's kind of the same as a blueberry, which are indigenous in North Carolina. They're everywhere, and who doesn't love blueberries? And plus, Tim's a big Carolina fan, and blue's one of his favorite colors. And
Keith's a Duke fan.
Keith's a Duke fan, so blue's one of his favorite colors. So it just kind of felt together, and we felt like it kind of flowed. The words, it kind of had this connotation of, you know, down home, earthy, you know, authentic, just down to earth and grounded, and we like that feel with, you know, the kind of music we like to make and like to perform, and got some good feedback from our audiences about it and said, all right, it's Huckleberry Blue, let's do it. So we did it, and we've gotten good feedback from it. Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. It fits. And tell Keith, we will, here at Rockin' Country, will not hold it against him because he's a Duke fan. I know that's a real curse for somebody to have on the end to pull for the Blue Devils, but, you know, we just do the best we can, right?
That's exactly right.
I'm totally joking. You know, that's the greatest rivalry in the world, in my opinion. So, but it looks like you guys compromised, because I love your logo, but I did notice it does have a little bit of Duke Blue in it. So, you know, but that's okay. I'm sure.
Well, it's not Duke Blue. It's Huckleberry Blue.
Okay, there you go. Hey, I love it. Yeah. I love it. That was a great save. Great save.
Well, thank you. I actually own a marketing firm, and so my team at Modus helped create the brand and the graphics, and a lot of the promotions that we do for our shows and special events are produced at Modus, at my company. So that's been a nice asset to the band too, to help kind of manage things and create promotional materials and book shows and that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, and let's talk a little bit about that, because you guys, you know, you both said you work, so you hold down jobs, and then you've got the band. But, I mean, you guys are, you know, from what I'm seeing, you're on the road a lot, you're touring a lot, and you're playing so many different places. How in the world do you find that balance between, you know, doing, it's almost like two full-time jobs. So I know with me personally, I can attest to that. And it's like sometimes I go, how do I do it? I just don't know. I just get up and breathe and keep getting it. So I just wonder, how do you find that balance? Because it can be a little crazy for me sometimes.
Well, let me put it like this.
I work too, though.
I work with a commercial and residential landscaping company, and after you work in 102 degrees, like I did today, going out and traveling and being on stage on the road sure is easy.
Oh, yeah.
But I have a lot of flexibility. My boss, actually, his brother is in music as well, and he, you know, just says, as long as you give me the dates ahead of time and let me know that you're going to be gone, you know, I know what you do. I know what I was getting into when I hired you. Just give me a heads up, man, and I'm behind you 100%. So, you know, that helps out a whole lot when you got somebody that backs you like that.
That's nice.
You know?
Really, that's a luxury. And for me, I work probably 30 hours a week in my agency, but I just kind of look at every day as an integrated day. You know, there'll be music, there'll be booking, there'll be banking, there'll be marketing, there'll be music, and it's integrated. So you just kind of have to float from one thing to another and flow with it and not let it feel overwhelming. Sometimes it gets overwhelming, but, you know, it's my choice, and I love it. I love it all.
Yeah, well, and I've always said that when you're doing what you love, you never work a day in your life. And so it sounds like you're both, working for a living on the money side of things. I mean, at least you both are fortunate enough that you've got that flexibility to be able to pursue the real dream, which is this music and the band and taking it to the next level. And, and gosh, I don't know an artist alive that didn't have to work until they made it, and it's a lot of hard work, but the dedication, if you really are doing what you love, the dedication is just part of it, and it doesn't feel like work. It's fun, and you're always ramped up. I know I am when I'm doing radio. It's like, man, I can't wait to get on air. I can't wait to do this and that. It's really, there's a lot to be said for that, and I'm sure once you get on stage, that's kind of the reward. You work hard behind the scenes to put it all together, but when you get out there and finally get to perform, that's, I think, where the true fun comes in, and it really does pay off. It seems to for you guys with the fan base that you have. It's just crazy.
It's like going to a playground for me. When I think Tim might agree too. When you get on the stage, that's playtime. It's just fun.
I love to entertain, and I love to make people smile and see their reaction when I come and sit in their lap or go shake their hand. So I'm so ramped up when I get on stage, it's not even funny. Within the first 45 minutes, if my shirt's not soaked and I'm not running around half crazy, there's something wrong.
Or jumping on the edge of the stage,
jumping on the edge of the stage, almost falling into the water, stuff like that. And I'm just a ball of energy when I get on stage, and I love it.
Well, and that's great because that means you're doing what you love, and that really, from a listener perspective and a fan perspective, I mean, that's what they come to see. They want to see you running all over the place and full energy, full on energy mode. I mean, that is really where they get their most entertainment from. It's just seeing that all unfold. But yeah, a lot of people. I've been around friends that are in bands, and I've been around music all my life, and just behind the scenes stuff as well. And and a lot of fans really don't have a real idea of what all it takes behind the scenes, to put a show together and how much is involved, and it's not as easy as it looks. I mean, once you get out there, that's, like I said, that's the fun part. But well, let's talk a little bit about your music, because you guys have written some incredible original songs, which are going to feature here before we close the show a little bit later on, and talk a little bit about that, because I know it seems like when you're touring all the time, when do you have time to kind of work on new material?
It's really funny because I used to sit down and write all the time, and within the past 2 years, until these few songs that we've written have come along, it's been, I guess I've had a constant phase of writer's block. I don't know if I've got so much going on, with, like you said, with us actually being out on the road and being on stage and singing and rehearsing all the time. Got to give a couple of guys in the band a lot of credit, because they have done a lot of the writing on the songs that we actually have out right now. Our new guitar player, Brittany Davis, she writes all the time, and she's written some really incredible stuff that we're listening to right now. And it's just a thing where Shelley and I, we're so involved in planning the shows and coming up with the set list and picking the new music and things like that. I don't get to write as much as I'd like to. In fact, today I had like 15 minutes on my job and actually wrote a chorus for a song for the first time I can remember in a long time.
Wow.
And it's tough. I mean, like I said, I used to have time. I used to do shift work, so I would have time, people would be at work, I would be at home, and I would sit around and write all the time. But it's gotten to the point where there's so much other stuff involved now. I look at more of the performance side of it, and I kind of forget about the writing, which is really bad, because, I have a lot of ideas, just don't have time to really put them down on paper.
And we've talked about some of those ideas, and we'll definitely be working on them. But, yeah, a couple of our other bandmates have written 3 of the songs that we have on our website right now, and then the 4th one, which is Country Song, which I think you played on Saturday night, was written by our friend Jeff Stevenson in Augusta, Georgia. He's a songwriter and performer down there, and so we got Country Song, and so he's the author of that one. Well, I want to make sure he gets credit for that one.
Hey, Joe.
Well, and the fact that, you guys, obviously, people love your performances. And for you guys, do you have a favorite song, either individually or collectively, that you just enjoy getting up there and performing every time, that's just a favorite of the band?
Well, we have just recently added, thanks to this Tim McGraw thing, Indian Outlaw. And it's something, it was a tough song, and I really didn't know if the band could learn it a lot, because there's so much that's involved in that song. And we started rehearsing it, and they really jumped on it, and we played it live 3 times now.
People love it. People really respond to that.
Crazy.
They do.
So that is my favorite song to sing by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a favorite that I love to sing with her, but that's my favorite to do by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite one is the duo because the harmonies are my thing. That's what I love the most. And the reason I joined the band in the beginning is to do those driving hard harmonies.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And my favorite one is Gasoline and Matches, which is not one that people hear or have probably heard a whole lot on the radio, but it's by Leanne Rimes and
Rob Thomas.
But I think when Tim and I do it, we just really rock it out, and we usually end a show with it, and people go nuts. And they've started singing along with us now, and I know they're not hearing it on the radio because it just didn't get a lot of airplay, so they're hearing it from us probably. But that's one we're thinking of taking into a studio and remaking because it's a great, great song.
And that is actually my favorite song to do with her. I love doing it. It's high-powered. It's energy. It's got the country rock edge. I mean, it's hard driving, and people get into it. And like she said, we actually talked about this weekend. I was telling her, I really think we want to go into a studio and re-record it and release it, as our own. Not as our own, but, our own version. And see what happens, because and the band does a great job on it. So it makes it even better.
And I think other duets, Somewhere With You, You and Tequila, I Need You, Meanwhile Back at Mama's, those are all ones that people respond really well to. And I think our harmonies on those are really great. They're strong.
Well, I have to go back to the Indian Outlaw for a second because, that was kind of the song that put Tim McGraw on the map. I mean, that is what that was the first song I remember him doing and seeing him on CMT and going, oh my gosh, who is this guy? And the song was just so much fun. And so to incorporate that into your show, I can imagine people are just going ape over it because, for one thing, it's nowhere on the radio now, of course, and it's not been heard in a long time. And Tim's released so many songs since then that it's almost become an afterthought, because it was so early in his career. So that's really cool that you've incorporated that.
But he still does it in all of his shows. I've seen him a number of times, and he always does it.
People go crazy, and it's funny you talk about that song like that because that was actually the song that he pushed for release, and his record company thought there was going to be so much controversy about what the song referred to and how it referred to it. And that's the one they actually told him, if this doesn't work, you can pack your bags and you're going home. And he said, I don't care, do it anyway. So, that, like you said, that was his first breakthrough. That's what got him started, and it's because he took a chance, and that's what we're doing. We're taking a chance and hoping that we know we're gonna make this work out. There's no hope about it, and we're just enjoying what we're doing and having a great time.
Well, the thing about that song and Tim McGraw is the thing. He is so handsome, and he was then, he is now, that I don't think it would have mattered if he sang the phone book when he came out. I think he would have been an instant success, either just from a look standpoint. So he was going to be it's a win-win regardless. But well, speaking of Tim McGraw, we've got to talk about him for a second now. Tim, you have been doing a tribute show, for Tim McGraw for quite some time, and I just have to ask because I know that people ask you this all the time, but have you ever been anywhere when you were all in, the cowboy hat, the shirt and everything, and not got double looks, or people come up and said, are you Tim McGraw? Have you never not been mistaken for Tim McGraw? Because, my gosh, you're like the spitting image of the man.
No, it happens. People actually tell me when we go to take the hat off. That's what Shelley kept telling me at the concert the other night because, it started, believe it or not, I was in Greenville, North Carolina, driving around in a Terminex truck with a big bug on top. And people started telling me I looked like Tim McGraw. Well, the Tim McGraw I remembered had the handlebar mustache from the Indian Outlaw video. I was like, there is no way I look like this guy. Yeah. And I had a guy come up to me one time and say, have you seen his new album? I was like, well, no, I haven't really looked. He said, well, go look at it. He said, it's like, I think it was the CD everywhere, where it just had half of his face. Mm-hmm. And I went to Walmart and picked it up, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe. And
then did you put a hat on and look in the mirror?
I went to the concert. I put on a black cowboy hat and went to see Tim McGraw and the Dixie Chicks at Walnut Creek,
Oh,
whatever it is. And they literally had to move me off the lawn that night. And I remember thinking, okay, this could, do something, because I was in concert choir in college, and I was like, I could learn this song. I got to look, let's see what happens. And it just kind of went from there. And then in 2001 or 2002, I was doing some promotions for a station, and we were out front, and his security team approached me and said, we need your help for tonight. And I was like, what is it? And he said, a security came over and was like, my God, you guys could be brothers. And I'm going, what are you talking about? Long story short, it was a double that night. They had kind of a magic trick set up where I actually went through the crowd and got attacked while he got rolled out in a box. I was up on stage. He started singing. The lights went out. He was in the middle of the crowd. I got rushed off stage. And, that was my first real experience. That's the first time I actually met him. And it just kind of kept going from there. And I think the scariest I've ever been, I went to see, me and my brother went to see him in Kenny Chesney in Charlotte last year. And that's the biggest venue I've ever been to see a concert. So you kind of forget where you're at. And it just so happened I was dressed like him that day. I had no idea what he was wearing. I just put on something, and I had to go to the restroom. And my brother was like, well, come on, let's go. And long story short, again, I got attacked probably by 6,000 to 8,000 people. They had to hide me in the bathroom and literally had to get security to get me back down to the field to my seat. Yeah, I missed half of Kenny Chesney's show, and then they had to put security on both ends of our road just so I could watch the concert. So it gets crazy sometimes. And the same thing happened last 2 weeks ago at Alltel. I just went up to speak to a kid who, wanted to meet Tim McGraw, and his mom came up and spoke to me and, told me what the story was, and I went up and hugged his neck, and then the next thing I knew, it was crazy. So,
picture after picture after picture after picture after picture.
Here's my thing is I'm listening. What an amazing story, Tim. I mean, thank you for sharing that. But I'm thinking, okay, if you were approached by his security team like all those years ago to be his body double, I mean, hello, that should be a guarantee. Anytime he's in North Carolina, you should just have the backstage pass, man. I mean, the whole gamut. Forget the crowd. I mean, if they need the decoy for the crowd, great. But I mean, my gosh, that is crazy.
Well, I guess it's just because I've never been, it's like when I met him the first night, and I've had the opportunity since I've done the tribute show to meet several other artists. I guess it's because I don't act starstruck. I go back and I talk to them just like we're talking right now.
Right.
And, most of the time they'll acknowledge me from stage just like he did. He nodded at me a couple of times, forgot lyrics. One time looked at me and laughed and stuck his tongue out. They know I'm there, and they speak in their own little way, but I don't have to go back and say, I don't have to go back and say hello every time. Once you met him once, I mean, there was some lady that had been to 125 straight shows, and he acknowledged her, but, I mean, I don't feel the need to go back every time. Say, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? I mean, if he wants to, if they want me to speak or whatever, I think they'll come in and get me, but I'm not going to go, hey, man, I think I'm entitled to go back.
Exactly.
I would
I'm
never
totally
do that.
joking you, by the way, but that's an incredible story. I mean, and talk about a couple weeks ago when Tim was in Raleigh at Walnut Creek, because the video out there that was taken of him pulling you up on stage and you just kind of taking over, and started singing Southern Girl, and he's just standing there looking like, and of course, I appreciate you sharing that initial story, because I didn't know that, and so I'm thinking that was kind of like your once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get up there and sing with him, not knowing any of the backstory. So it's kind of cool that he did that,
Yeah, that's the. I mean, I've been to several shows, and he'll come up and shake my hand, but not once has he ever attempted to pull me up on stage, and that's when he did it the other night. When he shook my hand, he smiled, he laughed. Everybody got a kick out of it. I did too.
And he walked by, and then he came back.
Walked by, and then he turned back around, and he motioned for me to come up. Everybody in the crowd thought I was a plant, that it was planned. I had no idea whatsoever. Of course, when he pulled me up, the first thing I said is I can sing it, and I actually tried to take the mic from him. But I didn't even know at that point that he was going to give me the mic. I thought maybe he would stop the band and say, what's your name, just kind of play around with me or whatever.
Yeah.
And I told Shelley I was lucky I was singing along with him as he was singing, because when he handed me the mic, I just went into my normal routine, what I normally do. I didn't think about 20,000 people. I didn't even know I was on big screen until I saw pictures that people posted in the video. I didn't realize I was up on those screens.
But, Dawn, I have something to add to the story. About 10 minutes before that happened, Tim and I were sitting there, and Tim McGraw came out. And Tim Hare turns to me and he goes, turn around and look at all these people here. And I did, and I was like, yeah, this place is packed. He's 47 years old, still selling out at places like this. And Tim said, do you think you could sing for 20,000 people? And I said, I think so. I think I just want to get to a mic if it were me on that stage. And he goes, I said, what about you? And he said, oh, I know I could. I would love it. I would totally sing for 20,000 people. And 10 minutes later, guess who's on the stage singing for 20,000 people?
Ta-da.
Yeah, for real.
Talk about manifestation, right?
Exactly. Oh my God. I mean, that was quick manifestation too. We aren't even talking like that took time. That was just, snapping. It was there. Well, I just think that was the coolest. That was the coolest thing, and that had to have been indeed a dream come true for you, being that you've done a tribute show, in his honor for so long, and just. How did you guys, I just have to ask, how did you guys get out of the arena that night? Because, now everybody in the venue has seen you on stage, and as you're leaving, I mean, did you just stay put until everybody left, or what happened?
It took hours,
a while.
But it was actually no different than coming in, because as we were driving in, I was driving the car, he was in the passenger seat, and people were literally following the car until it parked so that they could see him when he got out. So from the moment he opened the car door, we were taking pictures, and then after the concert was over with, walking back to the car, it was pictures, and I also took video of people talking to him afterwards and saying, oh my God, not only you look just like him, you sing just like him, goodness gracious, and so lots of pictures afterwards too. It took a couple hours to get back to the car.
I bet so. Well, that is that's just incredible. And, Tim, I'm really glad that, you didn't get mauled by 50,000, well, not 50,000, but about 5,000 or 6,000 women that night or any time that you've ever been to a Tim McGraw show, because, you never know when Tim may need you again for his body double, in the future.
That's
so
true.
We definitely want to keep you all in one piece here. And not to mention that, but on the other side of things, with your band, Huckleberry Blue, we definitely want you to stay out on the road touring and stuff. But what a real treat for folks who come out and see you guys, and you've adopted this moniker, and you're able to pull it off so well, both in looks and your vocals. And now, Shelley, I've heard you have a stellar voice. It's just the first time I heard you guys sing, I'm like, why are you not already signed to a major record label? I say that often about unsigned artists, because to me they're some of the most talented in the world, and you guys are no exception. And I'm just like, really? You guys are incredible, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You really are, and I have no doubt that trying to make a name for yourself and really get what you're doing out there, it does take time, but I think the rewards are going to pay off, because you guys are too talented not for it to go somewhere besides just North Carolina. I just see you doing great things. Who knows? You guys may be opening for Tim McGraw down the road. That would be nice. Hey, you've already made it up on stage with them. It's just a matter of time now, right?
Right. That's exactly right.
So now, I know you guys have got some upcoming tour plans. What other plans have you got in the works at the moment?
Well, we've got just kind of lofty. Are you referring to like the schedule, or lofty kind of vision and goals for the group?
Visions or goals, for.
Okay. Do you want me to take this, or do you want?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Okay, so there's actually we want to do so much. There's so many different things we think we can do with this group. And the first and most obvious, which is what we've been talking about, is the tribute performances. We are, so lucky to have the unique ability to, go out and do these tribute shows as Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. And we've done them a few times. We've got a few more books for this year and some ideas of touring with it next year, and using it as an opportunity to sort of fill those middle markets where Tim and Faith can't go. They can't go everywhere. They can go to the big markets, but we've discovered some of the smaller towns that are hours away from these big markets. There are a lot of people in these communities who can't get to a big arena or a big concert venue or even afford to pay for a ticket to one, but it's a pretty big deal for them to go and see a professional performance by a tribute artist in their own community. And we've done that a few times, and the response has been phenomenal. So we have some ideas about how we can take our show into some of these small to middle markets and do a performance that, can bring something special to the community, but also give back to those communities in ways that align with some of the community give back priorities that Tim and Faith also have had in their career.
Oh, that's
which,
awesome.
Include, creating new opportunities in these small communities for children to participate in sports, whether it's creating new programs or new facilities that don't exist in these smaller communities, could be something that we could help benefit and maybe even give back to people who are, suffering from natural disasters or who just come from, desperate personal circumstances that we might be able to affect in a positive way. So that's something we're really excited about developing a business plan around for next year. So that's sort of one aspect of it. And then we have the live country music that we've been doing for 2.5 years that, does incorporate some of our tribute music, but mostly covers. We get a real thrill out of going out on the weekends to these big saloons and private parties and entertaining people who've worked hard all week. They have worked hard and they want to, go out with their friends on the weekend or their spouses and families and just have a great time and laugh and dance and smile. And if we can help them do that, that's our job, and we're honored to do it. So that will always be part of what we do as well. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about writing, and that being something that Tim and I both, along with our other band members, would like to commit a lot more time to in the next 12 months. And, taking a little bit of a different approach to country music. There's a lot of music out there in the country music genre about drinking and breakups and bonfires and driving trucks and picking up girls in bars and stuff like that. And, that's all good and fine, but there are also stories that can be, hard driving and fun, but also can bring a little bit more of an inspirational twist that can uplift people. And so I think that's an opportunity that really hasn't been tapped in country music that I think we could fill.
Oh, yeah,
so those
definitely.
Those are kind of three categories of focus that we've talked a little bit about, and we're kind of developing some plans around.
Well, and one question I have is, do you guys see yourselves, going to Nashville either to record an album at some point or make a video to any of your songs that you may write and produce? Is that in the plans as well?
Well, I'm of the mindset that you don't have to go to Nashville to record a great album. With the internet and social media and the online networks that exist today, I'm not sure you have to be there, at least in the beginning. I know at some point you probably have to be plugged into that network. But I think we have to have the right material first. But ultimately, it would be great.
Oh,
of course. Yeah.
We'd love to.
Well, and I love your concept about writing, music that is not what we're getting now. I mean, all that's great, but as well as I, music is always cyclical, and, what is relevant and hot right now, probably won't be 5 years from now. It'll be something else. Mm-hmm. So, and music is always evolving and changing, and I think that there's no definition or a boxed in, category for it's got to be this style or it's got to be about this, and that's the beauty of music, because you can be as creative as you want to be and still be relevant and bring something meaningful to music, because people get tired of hearing about the same old thing all the time, and country radio right now is steeped full of the same sort of message, let's party, have a good time, and that kind of thing, and that's awesome. Right. And people love that sort of thing, but I think there'll come a point when that'll kind of fade out and fans will be ready for something new and fresh,
and more meaningful. I think the common thread with country music is the stories. I think that's what country music is known for, is storytelling. But you can do that and shift it to a different way of storytelling, or, sharing stories about different things. So
definitely.
I think there's definitely an opportunity to evolve it.
Yeah. Now, talk a little bit about where you guys are going to be performing this weekend. I know you've got big plans over the 4th to be performing. What's going on?
Well, we're going to be in, according to when you look on the map, Mocksville, North Carolina, which is right outside of Clemens, which is right outside of Greensboro, with Salem. We're going to be doing a big 4th of July show there on Friday. In fact, we go on stage at 3:50, so everyone close to that area, come on out. It's going to be an all-day event. I think the gate's open at 12. They're going to have activities for kids, classic car show, music all day long. I think there's 5 bands. Pie eating contest, the biggest fireworks show in the Southeast. They're going to be having that. A friend of mine, Patrick Reese, is putting it on. He's retired military, and he's really gone all out to make this happen. They got tickets in advance, and the place holds up to 10,000 people, so that's going to be a great time. And then we're leaving right out of there. I almost said we're bouncing right out of there because that's my word, bounce.
Bounce right on out of there.
We're going to bounce right on out of Montville.
Now, there's a country song. We're going to bounce right on out of there. There you go. There's a country song.
Right, we're going to bounce right on out of there. And we're going to head down to Augusta, Georgia, and we're playing the Country Club. And the great thing about this venue, it's one of the nicest country music clubs I have ever been into. It's a saloon.
Holds about 1,500 people.
Wow.
From the time we get there, they are there open. They are cleaning. They are making sure it's spotless. They're very nice to us. And then when you look on the wall, the likes of Luke Bryan, Jason Aldean, Tyler Farr, I mean, you name it, big names of country music have been up on that stage. And to say you've been on that stage, you know that these guys have been on is a really great thing. And people lie and dance all night long, and then after we play, it turns into a big old club at 12 o'clock with one of the biggest
crazy laser light shows,
in Georgia. And so that's a great experience to go there, too. So we're there on Saturday night. So we're back-to-back this coming weekend.
We were back-to-back last weekend.
And last weekend, yeah.
I think that's been kind of your norm. I mean, as long as I've been following you, I mean, of late, it's really been that way. And but that's a good thing because that means, if you're in North Carolina one night and the very next night you're in Georgia, a few weeks down the road you're going to be in Maryland. I mean, the word's gotten out about Huckleberry Blue, no doubt, and people, it's gaining in popularity, and people are wanting you in their venues because you put on an awesome show. And it doesn't hurt to look like Tim McGraw and Faith Hill either. I mean, that's got to help. But joking aside, I mean, you guys are incredibly talented, and I just, I think anybody would be crazy not to want you to come in and play because your show is just awesome, and so many people love what you guys do, and you have a great mix of music that I think people just really, it resonates with people, and so that's an awesome thing, and I'm so excited for you guys because you really are what country music is all about, and I think as you're able to carve out some time to start writing some songs. The two songs we're going to play here in a few minutes. If that's any indication of what we have to look forward to, man, it's going to be great stuff coming, and I can't wait. So we definitely look forward to that.
Thank you.
But, well, I want to thank both of you for taking time tonight to be with us because I know you've been incredibly busy. You're getting ready for these shows this weekend. So to have any time to speak to us has just been a real honor for us. Thank you so very much. But anytime,
we appreciate being asked.
Well, anytime we can talk about anything in terms of your music and anything new you have going on, you want to come back on the show, please let us know. We'd love to have you back anytime. And anything we can do to help promote you guys, we're happy to do it as well.
Great.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Well, Tim and Shelley, it's been great, and we wish you all the best as you go forward along with Huckleberry Blue, and just give everyone our best.
Thank you. We will. Sure will. And come and check out our show. We promise you high energy, great entertainment. I will sweat, and I may even come sit in your lap.
Well, all right then. Okay. Well, thank you so much, guys, for being our special guest this evening. We have greatly enjoyed the time with you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Safe travels this weekend, and happy July 4th.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great duo there. Tim Hare and Shelley Kelly. Hey, I got it right. And they are the duo that form Huckleberry Blue, and a great band. And if you've never had the pleasure, I'm telling you, you got to go check them out. I plan to. It is on the list for this year of things to do, and I'm going to carve out time, just like they carved out for us tonight. I'm going to make a point to go see them. But you can check them out on social media. Please go follow them because that is where you can keep up with everything they have going on and when it's happening. You can visit their website, huckleberryblue.com, and they do have all their upcoming tour dates listed. If you're going to be in Moxville, North Carolina, in and around, as Tim and Shelley said, they will be at the Freedom 4th Festival and Fireworks Friday night. So they will be performing there. Sounds like a big time. And also, you can, on Twitter and Facebook, they are Huckleberry Blue, and go like their page. And more importantly, I'm going to play their original songs here in a few. And if you like their music, please buy it. Support them because that's what keeps them able to create new music, put out new music, and do what they do. And I tell you, People absolutely love Huckleberry Blue, and you will too. So before we close our show, we're going to play a couple songs from the band. The first we will play is Country Song, followed by Give Me a Sign. For you now, Huckleberry Blue.
Singing with it, sure sounds silly, I don't mind. Oh, Hank Williams made his millions with an old country wine. Give me Patsy Cline. Get your high heel boots and your blue jeans on. Rock this place all night long. Line on up, get in a row. This ain't your grandma's do-si-do. Step in time to get down low. Everybody knows it's quitting time. Shout, get your redneck on, ain't no doubt, it's a country song. Singing cowboys and western swing, hillbilly boogie just ain't my thing. When they turn the lights down low, grab a partner and hit the dance floor. 'Cause you're all made up and ready to go, just can't wait to hear Copperhead Road. Line on up, get in a row, this ain't your grandma's do-si-do. Kick the dust, honk your boots, get back to your country roots. Clap your hands, come on, let's go. This ain't your grandpa's rodeo. Step in time, take it down low, 'cause everybody knows it's quitting time. Sing and shout, get your redneck on, ain't no doubt, it's a country song. Sounds fine anytime. Waylon Jennings made his millions with an outlaw spine. Give me Patsy Cline. Get your high heel boots and your blue jeans on. Rock this place all night long. Light on up, get in a row. This ain't your grandma's do-si-do. Kick the dust off your boots. Get back to your country roots. Clap your hands, come on, let's go. This ain't your grandpa's rodeo. Step in time to get down low. Everybody knows that's quitting time. Sing and shout, get your redneck on. Ain't no doubt, it's a country song. hard to believe that it may be real, maybe real. Maybe real, maybe real. Two empty cups, now you say you're mine. True love is hard to find. Now you and I are together after all of this time. Two empty cups, now you say you're mine. True love is hard to find. Now you and I are together after all of this time.
Huckleberry Blue, ladies and gentlemen. Give Me a Sign and Country Song, two originals from the band, and a great band indeed. I tell you, if you have not ever had the chance to get out and see them, I can't stress it enough. Please go see them. They put on a wonderful show. Go to YouTube, look at their videos, go to their website. They've got some videos on there of them doing some great songs, and as their slogan says, covering the country, and they do a wonderful, wonderful job of that. And if you're a huge country fan like I am, you can't go wrong when you go to a Huckleberry Blue show. And so we want to give a huge shout-out and thank you to Tim Hare and Shelley Kelly for being our special guest from Huckleberry Blue this evening, and we're very, very excited to see what's going to happen as they go forward, and the success that the band will continue to have, I have no doubt, because they have a huge fan base that is continually growing everywhere they go. They're just picking up new followers, and so we're very excited from them, especially the fact that they're from North Carolina. I'm always pulling for artists from North Carolina to really do their thing and go places. So we will be behind them 150% all the way. So for Rockin' Country Radio, that is actually going to wrap our show for this evening, but we will be back on air next Monday night at 7:30 p.m., and our show is Monday through Thursday, 7:30 p.m., and this weekend I'm still undecided. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do our music show because it's a holiday weekend. It's just going to depend on what kind of plans I have. So nonetheless, whatever you do this weekend, have a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July, and be safe. And if you're in the wake of Arthur, whatever his name is, be safe and steer clear as best you can. But nonetheless, hold on, because the weekend's going to be gorgeous. And enjoy your 4th. So for Rockin' Country Radio, I'm your host, DJ Delta Dawn, signing off for the night and wishing you all a wonderful evening. And we'll see you back here Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Take care all. Good night. Check out Rockin' Country Radio on the web. Find us at rockincountryradio.com, on Twitter at Rockin_CTRY, and on Facebook at Rockin' Country Radio.